for right now, just to see how they work this time and then the next time for lesson plans. And if it works, then we'll keep it. If not, then I will figure out also another way to try and get these done in the most efficient way possible for everybody to understand. So my thing is even though I would explain everything, the setup wouldn't always be, seen from a higher up standpoint, so you could see how everything is supposed to be set up. It would kind of just be like what you saw in the video, and so if it was a very self-explanatory station, you kind of just had to guess. But, so right now, we are going to start, I'm going to start by just going over what the lesson plans are, and only, like, full-blown explaining what things are supposed to be if they're not, like, the most basic of basic. That way, if you are, like, confused by how I word something, it makes a little bit more sense. And then what's going to happen with how you see what's supposed to happen, what's supposed to be set up, since I'm explaining what's supposed to happen. You're going to have a picture of all of the setups on every Monday that will be sent out. That way you can see what setup is supposed to look like. That way you don't have to kind of guess if I didn't show the whole thing in the video, so to speak, like I did prior. I lost my train of thought. Oh, and then they'll also be posted on the wall by where they should be. So every Friday, the lesson plans will come out. Every Monday when I come in and set them up fully for classes on Monday, the pictures will go out. It'll probably be around lunchtime. That's when I get here. That way you can see. That way also, if you don't have a class on Monday, you can still look ahead and see what it's supposed to look like for when you come in later. That way when you get to your first class of the week, you're not like, oh crap, what? and confused. So that's how we're going to be doing things from now on. At least for the next two, so this lesson plan and then the next ones. So I'm still going to go over all of the events separately, but I just wanted to touch on this one a little bit longer since it'll be the first one and kind of explain what's going on. So we're on Preschool Beam right now. As always, too, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to try and word things a little bit more in an explanation type deal. That way you can hear me saying it and not me just kind of going over it real fast to also show you at the same time. So for Preschool Beam, we're going to have an incline beam as one of the blue beams. So yellow will just simply walk up the incline beam and jump off into the hoop for SLP. The greens will grapevine up the incline and then jump off the hoop into SLP, and then red will bunny hop up the incline beam and jump off to SLP. It doesn't specify what kind of jump because they are allowed to do whatever kind of jump as long as it's safe. Straight, tuck, split, straddle, spin, whatever. As long as they're landing in SLP, whatever jump you want to have them do, that's totally fine. Then the second blue beam, they're going to do a moving straddle for yellow, jump feet up, touch together above the beam. Now I have to condense it down, that way it's able to fit inside the little box. But what that is an inchworm. So think inchworm for yellow, hands go, then feet go. Okay, it's the same thing. So hands will be on the beam, but feet will be on the floor, and they'll move in alternating time. So hands will move forward, feet will move forward. Hands will move forward, feet will move forward. But when your feet are moving forward, you'll clap them together above the beam and then put them down. So hands, clap feet together above the beam, down. Okay, so it's like a jumping inchworm, so to speak. Then on that beam for green, they will do dip walks. So dip walks are also called ice cream scoops. So bend down, touch your heel to the floor, not your toe, your heel. That way you actually have to bend down a little bit further. And don't put your full weight on it, just have them tap the floor with their heel and then come back up. Then for red, they will do forward rolls starting on the beam, but then ending in a straddle. Every time I looked over, a lot of kids were just flying all over the place, and it was kind of just happening. There was no very often corrections that were like, hey, let's do this, let's do that, and I understand they're little, so we're just going to try and simple it down for them a little bit. That way they can actually keep trying to go straight and not just roll off the beam. So they'll start on the beam in their squat like usual and then forward roll, but they'll land in a straddle, so one leg to each side of the beam. Then on the red beam, so the squishy one, yellows are going to do rocket jumps or blast off jumps are the same thing. So they'll have a pit block, they'll be squatted down on the beam, and as they jump up, they'll do a really big straight jump and hold on to the pit block. If they let go, they run the risk of hitting one of their friends while they're on the beam, so highly encourage them not to do so and hold on to the block the whole time. But that's why they're called rocket jumps, because you blast off like a rocket. Instead of those, greens will be doing long jumps, so swing forward and jump again, stay holding onto the pit block. And then red will do leaps over the pit block, so instead of holding it, the pit block will be on the beam, and where they will take a really big step. It's pretty much what it's going to be, even though it's supposed to be a leap, but they're going to do a really big jump step over and stay balanced on that one foot. So it should be their good foot that goes over the block. And then we have the carpet beam. Their yellows are going to hold a hula hoop and balance on one foot. The foot that they're not standing on is at their ankle. If that's too easy, they're welcome to hold their foot at their knee. Greens will hold the hula hoop and balance on one foot still. Their foot can be at either place, knee or ankle. And they're going to raise up onto releve and back down onto flat foot. It says other foot at knee, but if some kids aren't getting the hang of it, you can move them back down to their ankle. And then for red, they will hold the hula hoop and pivot turn in both directions. On the high beam, everyone will have a beanbag on their head, so we're going to start working on posture and not so much distracting their arms. But they will walk forward in yellow, balancing the beanbag on their head. Green will walk in passe, so foot to knee every step while balancing the beanbag. And red will do kicks walking forwards, so try and have their legs all the way straight while balancing the beanbag on their head. And then everybody's extra station will be the wobble board. It's this thing we have, and you'll see it in the picture. It's this little board, and it's kind of like the surfing station, but a little bit smaller of a scale, so it's easier for them to do. But that is all for beam for the next 2 weeks for preschool.